That was probably the most painful aspect of me trying to get us known in the DFW area, right? We tried 4 different marketing agencies, every one of them promising something better than the previous 4. We were probably stuck in the $800,000 range of revenue a year. It became an infinite cycle there where it's like, we're just stuck here. We can't hire more people because we're not making more money, but we can't make more money with the people we have, so how do we get out of this? And it was a little bit of an eye-opener for me many times when we would go to a marketing company and say, what happens if we don't make it? And the answer was always, well, we can't guarantee it. In 6 years, we've never seen a single phone call come from anything that we put on Facebook. When you launched a campaign and we saw the first lead come in, I was like, really?
So I'm here with Johann from WH Technologies.
Yep.
Johann, could you walk me through WH Technologies? What do you do? Who do you serve? And where are you today?
Yeah, so we're in the Dallas area. We're a custom integrator, AV integrator. So anything that has to do with technology within the home, that is primarily what we do. Audio, video, of course, making sure that the sound follows the homeowners throughout their house, making sure that the lighting is exactly highlighting the architecture, but also enhancing the mood and the well-being of the clients as they live throughout their home. And then we automate everything, right? We want to make sure it's easy for the client. So whether it's a push of a button, a keypad on the wall, or simply walking around and knowing how the homeowner behaves, that integration, that's what we do on a daily basis. And
full automation with attention to details.
That is exactly correct. All our homeowners expect the highest level of details. We're lucky enough to be in this house that we're working on right now. 10,000 square foot home, ultra luxury for the homeowner. So they expect that level of detail, right? They want to make sure that everything comes together without them having to think about it, but also with the beauty in mind, right? So if we're going to place a keypad, it has to be strategically placed. We have to know where we're placing it, why, and it's chosen carefully to match the designer's intent within the home and the architecture and whatever the homeowner and their design team decided that they wanted for the home.
And how long are you doing this? How big is your team?
Yeah, so we've been doing this for 8 years as a full integration firm. It deviated a little bit from full consultation to full implementation. So we've been doing this for 8 years. We've got a 9-people staff right now, and we've been lucky to continue to grow. So you can probably ask me that question again in a few months, and it'll be a different number and a lot higher. So that's kind of how we're
solid. And happy to hear you're growing.
Thank you.
Could you take me back? What you did? What did you try before working with Freedom Flow?
Yeah, that was probably the most painful aspect of me trying to get us known in the DFW area, right? We knew we were very good. We've always had very careful attention to detail, quality of our work and everything. Whenever someone hired us, they would talk about us, but that was as far as it went. So we tried 4 different marketing agencies, every one of them promising something better than the previous 4 agencies. And these were not, small little people trying to say they were marketers. These were actual marketing agencies. They all promised something better. They all said that whatever the previous company was doing was not working, and that's the reason why we weren't getting results. Ultimately, after the 4th one, we were very fortunate to find you, and I will very honestly say no one has achieved in the short time that we've worked together what you have achieved. So that's kind of where we started and where we came from.
Great to hear.
Yes.
Proud of my team.
Yes, I am very happy and.
So how long did it take? Because I guess you hired the first agency. You gave them some time to try their.
Correct. So I think our first agency was probably the shortest lived. We had a 3-month commitment. They felt, nothing is going to achieve before 3 months. And we understand there's a time to get things to mature in marketing, right? But we stayed with them for close to 6 months with absolutely 0 results to show. We spent monthly on them, on the ads, on everything they decided was needed to run, and we got nothing. So after 6 months, we decided to cut ties with them. We found another very highly regarded agency here in the DFW market. So we went with them, and we were with them for a full year. They redid the website. They talked a lot about SEO, and we need to place this, and we need to do ads here and run it here, and campaigns and all of that. After 12 months, there was absolutely nothing to show for it. So we also ended up cutting ties, which kind of led us to a small individual who kind of ran things for a short period of time. He was about 4 months. That was the only time it was an actual, just individual, not a full-blown company. Ironically, he did a little bit. So we saw a few results, not to the level we wanted, and definitely not to a level of growth we were expecting. So that kind of led us to the fourth and last before you, very large marketing company. I think they've got some fantastic strengths, some weaknesses, and the Facebook and advertising and campaigns and all of that was probably not their biggest strong suit. So that was a fourth and last company. So yeah.
How long were you with them?
We were with them for 3 years. So quite a bit of time. And yes, not everything was gloom and doom. There were good things, and they produced some results, which is of course why we went that long. But it was never at the level that we would have expected after 3 years.
I'm sure you wouldn't be with them for 3 years if there were like no results.
Correct. It was more a matter of the results were always, I'll call them kind of third party, right? We saw results, but it was never a direct, we did this campaign, here are the results, and look at the massive growth or new leads or new people or new growth from that. There were always ways in which we could measure, yes, there's some growth, but never directly attributed to the campaigns.
You're the guy that never gives up. From the story that you're
Yes.
telling me right now, it seems like you never give up. And most AV integrators get burned by bad agency, and they conclude that marketing doesn't work for our industry. So why didn't you give up?
Well, part is personality, right? I believe that you never give up, and with not only the marketing but building this company up from the ground, it's a matter of never giving up. There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be better ways to do it. But I knew there had to be a way to get to the homeowners that were looking for it, because we also know, after talking to homeowners and meeting homeowners, they were complaining about other AV companies that they had met. They were complaining about not finding the right one, and when they described their requirements or needs or the qualifications they were looking for, we knew we had them, but they had never heard of us. So there had to be a way of connecting what we were doing with what they were looking for. We just hadn't found the right way to do it. So yeah, I think that was the reason why we never gave up, and we just knew there had to be a better way to do it.
That's great.
So
that's a good trait.
It is.
And I know that you are very committed to the industry because you are HDA certified. You work with Matt from VITAL. Could you walk me through, why you're doing all of this? And that there is many AV companies that they don't really care about this.
Yeah. So when I started this, it wasn't just to make money, right? It wasn't just to get away from my previous job. I love the industry. I always felt passionate about the industry as a whole. And I truly believe that good AV companies not only advance themselves, of course, there's always growth to be had, and you need to do it, right? You need to be able to grow your team, support more people under you and employees and your personal experience. But the more you're able to grow the industry as a whole, the better homeowners and builders and architects and everyone that works in this industry is going to be. So my commitment to the industry goes beyond just I'm going to grow my company. It's also educating, right? It's letting homeowners know these are the possibilities that you may have never even thought of. But when someone places their money, whether it's a small amount or a big amount in a house, that is their dreams. And when they come in and live the house and it's not performing to their expectations, whatever those might be, it's very frustrating. I lived it myself with my home. Before I built the one I'm in right now, I purchased one. It was a production build, and I was very frustrated with the way it worked. Nothing worked the way I wanted it, and that feeling is always going to be present. So it doesn't matter if you're spending $200,000, $2 million, or $20 million. There's always expectations in the way you walk into your house and you want it to live. So I truly believe that bettering the industry, us as a company in the industry, ultimately gives everyone a better place to be in the AV world.
How did the relation with VITAL and HDA started?
Yeah, great question. So I met Matt at one of the trade shows. He was giving a presentation on better ways to manage, the company and the flow of cash. And I thought that was a very interesting approach. And he and I got talking, and we started very small. We started with a few audits that he did for our company and a few red lights. And we're like, oh gosh, this is not where we want to head, right? And that kind of started growing into understanding the way he sees the industry. He sees, better ways of doing things. And one of the things that is a core principle of my company is being dynamic and always learning new ways of doing things. And I think he brought that to the table. So when we started working with him, different ways of doing things that we hadn't considered also, not only opened our eyes, but expanded our possibilities of what we could do. So that's a little bit
amazing. I do the same. I join, different groups, masterminds, and shows and exhibitions and stuff like that to learn about what we could do better. But it's usually where we're like kind of a plateau. Mm-hmm. I feel like, okay, we need some next level information, mm-hmm. or we need some information to get to the next level. So before you started with VITAL, mm-hmm. did you have this moment like you felt like you're stuck?
Yes.
And okay, so
I think that was a clear eye opener for me, right? We were stuck. We knew there had to be better ways. I did not know how to get them, right?
Could you tell me really quick, like what revenue were you stuck mm-hmm. at, for how long, and what was the bottleneck?
Yeah, we were probably stuck in the $800,000 range of revenue a year. It was not one bottleneck, right? It was a bunch of bottlenecks. The first one was myself as an owner and trying to do just about everything. We also learned the hiring that we were doing was not headed in the right direction. So we were very focused. Being an AV company, we had to hire technicians, right? We had to hire the technical staff, and we were ignoring a lot of that back office, which again fell into my plate and slowed things down. So understanding those best practices, understanding good hires, understanding where the next hire had to come from to start complementing the team, mm-hmm. that was a key moment for us, and that really got that level unstuck. I believe. My current office manager, I hired him probably about a month after I joined VITAL, because that was a big eye opener. And it's like, we don't have that role, that position. We need to get into that, and that was a big moment for us. Changing the way we did things and moving away from that plateau, like you said, mm-hmm. into hey, we need to grow, and we need other ways to set our systems so that we can actually grow.
It's painful to stay, at the same level. At least for me,
it is.
When I stay too long at the same level, I'm like, hey, we need to do something.
We do.
Let's pay someone for the information that we don't have.
Yes. And I like one of the things that he always says is the problems that we have been had by many other people and been solved by many other people. The question is, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just go find the answer to the mm-hmm. questions and the problems that you have. So
you need to realize you're not special.
No, absolutely. And your company as a whole may have a very unique way of doing things, but the problems are universal, right? Across industries, across people, across owners, different size companies, but the core of the problems
are SpaceX.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Okay, so for how long were you stuck at the 800?
We were there for a couple of years. It wasn't a huge time frame, but 2 years in a row of that kind of growth, mm-hmm. Or lack of growth. We were very fortunate to grow to that point very quickly, and then we were stuck there a little bit, and then we.
What was the most frustrating part about being
stuck there?
Yeah.
I think we were stuck in a place where we wanted to grow, and we knew we needed to hire more people, but we didn't have money to hire people because we weren't growing. So it became an infinite cycle there where it's like, we're just stuck here. We can't hire more people because we're not making more money, but we can't make more money with the people we have. So how do we get out of this? So I think that was very painful, and knowing that we wanted to grow, but we didn't have the staff, we didn't have the resources, we didn't have the people.
Do you think it's like when you are at 800K and you're making a good money, mm-hmm. let's say, and you know that you need to hire people, so you need to take it off from yourself. Do you think that's like the most difficult thing for most business owners to do it? Like you need to make few steps back?
Yes, to move forward. I think it's definitely a very hard position to be in as a homeowner, as a business owner overall. I would say, in my opinion, that's what makes really good AV companies be good, and then all the other guys that are basically just doing it for themselves. So instead of having a staff of people that care after the projects, they have a bunch of helpers, right? So they've got 2 or 3 technicians and one installer, whatever it is, but it's ultimately them for them, right? They're taking the money out. It's not about growing the business, about growing their income. So when they get faced with a challenge of, you're at this point, you need to go back, like you said, to go forward, there's a very big resistance. So I don't think it was my biggest resistance. I came from the corporate world for a long time. I grew in many different positions in the corporate world. So I think that was a little bit more of a natural, okay, this is where we have to head. But I do see it as a very big differentiation in the industry.
Yeah, I think it's good to have this corporate experience, you know?
Yes, I think for me, it's come in very, very, very useful and handy in multiple occasions.
So you work with Freedom Flow on marketing, you work with Vital on the business side. How do those two pieces fit together?
Yeah. I think it's a natural integration. A lot of what we talk in Vital is the next best thing, right? And marketing addresses a lot of those next thing that we have to do, whether it's increasing the sales, increasing the pipeline, becoming and having a consistent pipeline, which has been a challenge or had been a pretty big challenge for us so far, right? So building that and having the conversation of this is what you have to fix. Freedom Flow comes in to fix that part for me, right? So now I have the problem. I know what my solution is. I was looking for that piece for 4 years or more with different companies. So having that to plug in says, okay, great. I've got the problem, I've got the solution, and I've got the way in which we're going to solve the problem.
I asked for this because we are a marketing company and we can fix your pipeline.
Right.
But then there is the whole sales process, operation, everything. And you know, it needs to go together.
It does. It does. Leads coming in without a process to handle the leads, to, properly scope and quote and talk to homeowners mean nothing, right? Because then they're just going to sit there. And I really like it because it hasn't necessarily been our problem or our next focus area. But within Vital and the mastermind groups that we have, there are a lot of companies that are sitting on literally millions of dollars worth of work in the pipeline that they can't address because they just don't have the capacity to address. So that's exactly how you said, right? Everything has to flow together and it comes in through the pipeline, but that means it has to be handed off and it has to be worked on and it has to be put into production. Otherwise, it's just, it's useless. You can have thousands of leads come in. If you're not going to get to them, then they mean nothing, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the secret sauce here.
Yes, yes.
What was the moment when things started clicking and what changed first?
So, on the marketing side, I think the moment that it clicked for me with you was the presentation you did for HTA, right? HTA does the different presentations for different aspects of the business. I was in one of yours, and the way you spoke about how marketing had to happen, what the homeowners or just the people who are searching for, in this case, AV, but it could have been anything. The understanding of the needs of the people and how you address those needs, how you talk to them, that was a big clicking moment for me, right? That was the moment where I said, okay, this is where we need to, to head and change the way we're doing things. Yeah.
What's the system you have now that you didn't have 18 months ago?
I think there are a lot of systems that we didn't have 18 months ago. A large CRM that kind of handles all the aspects of the flow, right? So pipeline coming in, getting registered, a consistent way of getting back in touch with the clients, understanding where they are in the process, understanding where the leads come from and having visibility into the whole business, right? Now I can go back and kind of see the whole process and say, this is what we need to address next and this is not working. So that whole system end to end, I think is the biggest. And I know it's a big answer to say, hey, it's a whole system, but that connection of every single dot connecting to every other was not there. The dots were there, but there was no interconnection between them. So yeah.
What's the revenue right now like? You were stuck for a long time at 800K.
Yep.
That was when, like 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago. We should be closing this year over 2 million.
Over 2 million.
Over 2 million.
Congrats.
So thank you. Yes, definitely a big one. Despite the slow start of the year and despite the industry, having a little bit of a fluctuation there, end of last year and this year, we should be on track to close a little above 2 million.
What's the one thing you would tell another AV integrator at 500K plateau who's watching this?
Well, first of all, don't give up, right? I think that's key. Don't give up, but also don't be afraid to try things differently. If you want this to grow, if you want it to be a company, not just a job for you, but an actual company where you've got freedom for yourself, for your family and everything, try things differently and look for help. It's something that I still to this day believe from anyone. No matter who you talk to, what level they're at, you can always learn something. So take it, implement it, don't be arrogant, and learn from either companies that have done it differently, companies that have gone down, and we can understand why they went down, or mentorship groups like VITAL. And I mean, HDA, even though it's not a mentorship group, they've got really good content that can help push you into the right direction.
Yeah. That's important. To have open mind.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
And search for this little pieces of information.
Just because you've been doing it the way you've been doing it for the last whatever number of years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever, doesn't mean it's the right way. So you may have been doing it like that for 6 years, but be open to someone else coming in and saying, hey, what if we do it totally different? And maybe it's a better way. And you stop doing what you've been doing for 6 years and adopt a new way. So, yeah.
What advice would you give specifically to someone who's been burned by a marketing agency before and is skeptical to try again? I guess you just said that, but
yeah, so
never give up.
The never give up is important. Very honestly, I think one that was key for me was your willingness as a company to put skin in the game as well, right? It wasn't about you just coming and saying, I can do it better. You had a system in place, you had a lead number in mind, right? And you had the systems to prove that you were also risking, your time, your effort, your knowledge, your company in this venture. So for me, advice to anyone looking is look for a partner, not just a company that's going to serve you, because you can go off and pay whoever you want to. If they're just taking your money, that is not a true partnership, right? And with you, I truly felt it was a partnership. You were putting a number behind the leads. You knew you were going to get to them, and there was a penalty for you as well if you didn't get to those leads. That made all the work, because it wasn't about the money, because the money was there, and we had been paying for a long time without any results, right? It was the willingness of saying, I know what I can do, and here's how I'm going to prove it. And that you chose a monetary way to do it, which was great, but ultimately it was you coming to the table and saying, I'm going to partner with you, and I'm going to invest in this partnership as well. So for anyone looking out there, my honest recommendation would be find someone that is going to be a partner to your business in whatever area that you want to address it.
I agree with this 100%.
Yeah.
Because it's about finding the right partners. That's the business.
Yep. And it was a little bit of an eye-opener for me many times when we would go to a marketing company and say, well, what happens? You're promising this, right? Whatever the promise was. What happens if we don't make it? And the answer was always, well, we can't guarantee it. It's like, well, how about I pay you half, and if you make it, I pay you the other half. Oh, no, that's not the way we work, right? So there was never any commitment. And it was all about, well, if I don't make it, I don't make it, and I'm just out of here, right? So there was no true investment.
Lots of promises.
Lots of promises, very little skin in the game, yes.
Okay. Could you talk about working with Freedom Flow? Like, what did we actually deliver?
So it's been great, right? We started out from day one in a totally different process than before, right? We did filming, right? We did the ads, we did them together. We filmed the ads, so that was the first tangible piece of content that we had, a material, right? So that kind of started everything. After that, it became a CRM, a flow, a pipeline, and then of course the leads coming into that pipeline and working their way through. So very tangible. It's been every step of the way from recording the ads to managing the queue and having everything come in and seeing the results of the marketing, campaigns and the different campaigns and saying, no, we're not going to do this one, and having the reviews with your team and saying, you know what, we're pausing this one because we're not seeing the results we were expecting. We're going to start this other one, or we're going to put a little bit more into this one because it's been performing better. We're going to stop that. That is tangible material that we have been able to see from day one.
How quick you saw the first results?
I think the first lead probably came in the same day you started.
Were you surprised?
I was extremely surprised, and this is not. I'm not joking here. In 4 years, after all the marketing agencies and efforts and campaigns and everything, 6 years, we had never seen a single Facebook lead come in. None, none. So when we started talking about Facebook, and you were so confident about Facebook, there was still hesitation, right? I was like, in 6 years, we've never seen a single phone call come from anything that we put on Facebook. When you launched the campaign, I think it was a Friday or almost a weekend, or almost a weekend for us, probably a weekend for you. And we saw the first lead come in. I was like, really? And it was a good lead. It was actually one of the really good leads that we've had so far. So the very first one, same day you launched it, and then from there it's been constant. There's some weeks that are a lot better, some weeks that are a little bit slower, but it's been a consistent pipeline that has been coming in. So
I will tell you really quick why I'm so confident. I was working for Loxone, smart home manufacturer, and we did something over 20 million USD in 4 years.
Okay.
Through Facebook, through Instagram. So I knew it's working.
Right.
And right now for Freedom Flow marketing, how did we get to you? Same.
Yep.
Facebook ads.
Yep.
And all of our clients are from Facebook or Instagram. So if someone is telling me Facebook is not working, I'm like,
yes, it is.
We generated 20 million for Loxone through Facebook and Instagram, and we are generating a lot of money for ourselves right now, and we are only doing Facebook and Instagram, and it's basically all we do. So we are managing over $500,000 USD monthly on Facebook and Instagram. So we know it's working.
Yeah.
You just need to follow the process. You need to follow up with the leads. You need to have the sales process basically.
Correct.
That's what it is.
Correct.
Could you tell me some concrete results, like what numbers, in what time frame we were able to deliver? Can you do this?
Yeah. So we've been doing this for 3.5 months. We've closed and paid about $30,000 so far. We've got another $80,000 committed already. We're just waiting for the bill to actually do, so it's not billed. We have a single proposal right now for anywhere between $350,000 and $450,000 that came from the leads. We've already been told we're one of 2 companies that they're evaluating and making their decision based off of. So those are very concrete numbers for me, right? It's like I can tie the lead to the moment they called to the day they signed the contract, and that came exactly there. So I would say, yeah, when this $350,000 deal closes, that'll add up to almost $500,000 worth of deals through our effort.
Awesome.
So
I think it's been 4.5 months.
4.5 months.
A bit longer, but still.
Yeah. It feels relatively new, but yes, I think you're right. It's probably close to.
Yeah, because last time we seen each other was in January.
February.
Right
yeah. January, February.
Like 5 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the campaign is like
the campaign. Yeah,
4.5, something like that. Last question. Would you recommend Freedom Flow to another AV integrator?
Oh, absolutely. No question. I think you know the language, you know the market, you know the technology, right? So you're not talking out of just, I'm a marketing company, I'm just going to do something different for you. So I would definitely do it. And honestly, my results are like no other. So yeah, there's no question.
But they are also because of everything you've done and went through.
True.
We take care. We do take care about the pipeline. We can fix your pipeline, but then it's up to you.
Correct.
To close all the deals and.
Correct. And there's reputation that has to be had, right? One homeowner will talk to the next one and the next one. So
we are your partner.
Correct.
We haven't done it ourselves. Only,
agree. I agree.
A partnership.
And that's why we were talking about the partnership at the beginning, right? Because to me, it has to be a partnership. It's not only I'm going to give you the leads and that's it. Because that's just not going to work. So, but yes, there has to be a lot of work inside the company to make sure that you can support what you're selling, that you can deliver what you're promising. Otherwise, that will probably be the last deal, right? No matter how much money you put on Facebook. Second, you fail on a home like this, and the homeowner is really upset, you will probably go down. So, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. I appreciate your time, Johann.
My pleasure.
I appreciate the partnership we have.
Same here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.